You know, I like to bring my guests to you up close and personal. And today you're in for an extraordinary treat. Today I come across an extraordinary drummer. You know I like that, right? It brings me great pleasure to bring to you Mr. Brian Skippy Reid. How you doing, man?
Blessed, brother. How you doing?
Hey, welcome to Pittsburgh.
Hey, back home. Good to be back home.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you.
Yeah,
Hey, well,
yeah.
let me ask you, what part of Pittsburgh were you born in? Because you were born in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, born and raised here. Raised down in Manchester.
Down in Manchester?
Yeah.
Okay, now what year was you born?
1950.
1950. That was a
Yeah.
good year for
Yeah,
you.
very good year.
Yeah. Well, what was it like for you growing up down there in Manchester?
It was great,
during
man.
During that time.
It was great. Had big fun. I come from a large family,
Yeah.
and a lot of sisters and brothers, cousins, and aunts and uncles.
Mhm.
So it was great when I was growing up here. It was a lot to do back then.
What did you do for fun as a kid?
As a
growing
kid, we used to go, swimming, hang out. Used to have a place here called Monument Hill.
up? Yeah.
And we used to go up there and just have big fun.
Okay.
Big fun, hiking through the woods and
Right.
whatnot and enjoying ourselves. Hang out at West Park up here,
Yeah. Now, the Monument Hill, Allegheny Community College is there now.
That's where it is now. That's where the
Yeah.
college is now.
Right,
And,
right. Now, you mentioned swimming.
Swimming.
Where did you go swimming?
Up at Pleasant Valley, PV.
PV.
Yeah,
we
PV.
talked-
Yeah,
Oh, you didn't go down to New Pool?
Come sometimes.
Oh, sometimes.
But
But
PV
your
was the
pool-
spot.
yeah, that was your
Yeah,
pool.
PV was the spot.
PV was the
yeah,
spot.
yeah. We used to go up and we used to hike up through, go up through the graveyard. You know the graveyard up there on the hill.
Uh-huh.
We used to hike up through there, pick the apples and stuff.
Yeah, along the way. huh?
Yeah, along the way, yeah. And we go on, be up there all day swimming, just having a good time,
Yeah.
That's how it was back then when I was coming up, you
Yeah.
know. A lot of fun, man. Everybody got along and you had friends, real friends.
Right,
right,
right, right.
It was
Well,
it was a gas.
Well, I'm a drummer.
Right.
And every time I get in a conversation with somebody about drumming and drummers,
Mm-hmm.
somebody always says, "Do you know Skippy Reid?"
Oh yeah.
And I say, "Man, I keep hearing about this Skippy Reid, but I never had the pleasure of meeting him." Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you, Skippy, what was it about the art of drumming that caught your interest? How did you get involved with all that?
Rhythm inspired me. You would hear, like, we used to live by the steel mill, and you would hear the trucks, the things inside where they pour the big steel, all the molten steel out. You would hear that stuff, and you see the sparks, and you hear that sound, and all that rhythm. It would make sense to me. To somebody else would be noise, But to me, I could hear rhythms, like a splash and boom,
Mm-hmm.
tink, 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 tink,
Now, how old was
Cats.
you? How old was you when you was noticing all that?
I was about, something 9, 10 years old.
Oh, yeah?
That my ear was hearing those
You was
things.
hearing that, man.
Yeah, and it was cool. I used to think something was wrong with me, because it sounded good to me,
Right,
But to most folks, it sounded like noise,
Mhm.
But I could hear the intricacy of the sound, the rhythms, of things that were working. A person walking down the street, there's a rhythm going on there,
Yeah.
Just rhythm, rhythm just seemed to engulf me,
Right, right.
and I would hear it, and when I got to be about 10, I would, patting out things, because I used to listen to the radio a lot, and used to listen to the songs and listen for the drummers, listen for that
Uh-huh.
rhythm, listen for that solid, that 2 and that 4,
Yeah, yeah.
hitting, and what they did in between, with the bass drum and the hi-hat and stuff, man.
Uh-huh.
And I'd hear that and I'd say, wow, that's nice.
Now,
I
you
want
was
to do
doing
that.
all this even before you was a teenager. Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Now
Yep.
you shared a real interesting story with me
Mhm.
about a tar can.
Oh, wow. Yeah, my tar can. Yeah, one day I'm out playing, and I'm in this lot, and there's a tar can out there. And I just happened to take a rock and throw it at the can, and it hit it dead center, and it boom, it had a nice sound to it. I said, wow. So I went over, picked it up, and I tapped on it, and it had just enough tar in it to give it the sound that it had.
Uh-huh.
And so I decided, let me take this home. And I took it home, got in my backyard, and had a pair of sticks, drumsticks, old beat up pair, and I started pounding on it.
Okay, now wait a minute. Now, where did you get the drumsticks? Where did they
Drumsticks, I got them from a friend of my brother's.
Okay.
He had given them to me, and but they were just around the house, and I would just pound on pots and pans,
Is that right?
drive my mama crazy.
Yeah.
And I had them sticks, so I went on out and I started tapping on this can. It just sounded really good, and the rhythm started settling in my head,
Yeah.
And so I played on this can for a year. And what I did, I used to go to Conroy School here on Fulton, and my teacher was Mr. Frank Liggins. I don't know if you know him or not.
I don't.
Okay, he was one of my music teachers,
Mm-hmm.
and he had an old cymbal in the storage room, and he said I could have it, and I took.
Now, what grade was this?
This was like I was in sixth.
About sixth grade?
Yeah, about sixth grade.
So were you playing drums in school at that time, or he was
No.
just your music
I didn't.
teacher?
Yeah, he was just my music teacher because
Okay.
I enjoyed music. I sing too.
Okay.
And I love singing.
Yeah.
And I took that cymbal home with me, man, and I remember making a makeshift cymbal stand out of a 2x4 and an old, those old bike things that you used to hold your bike together with
Yeah.
to hold the fender on.
Uh-huh.
I took and broke that off, and I manufactured it where I could hold the cymbal on it
Man,
and
you
tacked it to
sound
the
like
board.
me,
Oh
man. I
man,
used
I
to
had to be
build-
creative. Had to be creative in them days, because
Right.
parents didn't have a lot of money, but.
Right.
I got creative and I did it, and I sat in my yard for a year beating on this can and a cymbal.
In that cymbal.
Yeah, at 4:30 every day, everybody in the neighborhood knew where I was.
So you practiced every day?
Every day.
See, that's
Every day.
what's up. That's
Yeah,
where it's at,
every
man.
day.
And I tell everybody, any students is coming up, and
Mhm.
some of my former students,
Right.
whatever you do, man, practice every day. If it
Practice.
ain't for 5 minutes, if you got the flu,
Mhm.
but you got to discipline yourself.
Right. You got
know?
discipline is the key word.
Now,
brother.
did you know that you was disciplining yourself, or you knew the value of practicing every day, or you were just doing it just because you
I was
enjoyed
having
it?
fun.
You was having fun.
I was having fun.
Yeah.
I didn't know no better.
Right, right,
I was
right.
having fun, but unbeknownst to me, I was forming a discipline pattern.
Uh-huh.
And it showed. It showed. So like I said, I played that can and that cymbal for about a year, and I didn't even know my parents were paying attention. And that next year, they bought me a set of drums.
Get outta here.
Never will forget them. A set
What
of
color were they? Remember?
red sparkle.
Red Sparkle
Red
drums.
Sparkle. Lido Supreme.
Get out of here.
Lido
Now,
Supreme.
the first time that you hit the real drum, what was that like for you?
Oh, it was on.
Yeah.
It was on. It was on. I mean, like, I had the opportunity before I got my own set to play on a set of drums. There was a brother
Oh,
here. Yeah, there was a brother here named Curtis Richardson.
Okay.
He taught me. He was really my first teacher.
Okay.
He lived on Sheffield Street, and I don't know. You remember John C. Richardson?
John C. Y'all played drums with John.
His brother,
Okay.
yeah, because they had a band together,
Uh-huh.
and Curtis was a left-handed drummer.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'd go to his house and he'd switch it around for right hand for me,
Is that right?
and I'd work out. He'd lock me in the basement for a couple hours, 3 times a week,
Uh-huh.
and I'd go down there. I'd just have fun,
Yeah.
and he showed me some things, certain things, showed me some rudiments and whatnot, and I just kept on. Then my parents bought me my drums, and it was on from there.
Yeah.
It was on from there.
Now, the first time that you hit a real drum, was it Curtis's drum?
Yeah, it was Curtis's drums.
Do you remember? Do you remember that moment?
Yeah, it was like heaven, man.
Yeah.
It was like heaven because I went down his basement. He had this huge set of drums, and he had real calf skin on them.
Uh-huh.
And like it was like playing on a big trampoline. The
Yeah.
bounce and everything, and,
Uh-huh.
and he had a multitude of toms and cymbals, And I would listen to him play. He showed me like he was a good shuffle. He had a good shuffle going on, and he showed me how to play a shuffle. And like he'd do it on the left side, and then he showed me how to do it for the right, And I started getting in, and these drums of his. I mean, just like they started playing me. I wasn't playing them. The drums was playing me,
Yeah.
it just turned me on, you know.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, my parents bought me my first set, and it was on from there. I was just
Every
on,
day.
yeah, every
Every
day.
Now you know what I used to do. I used to play along with records.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you do that?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I used to have one of those record players that the records would drop down.
Yeah.
You know, and used to go up to what's that place here on Federal East
Stedford.
Ohio Street, Stutterford
Stedford.
Records. Yeah.
Stedford, yeah.
Every time I hear a new record on the radio, give me 85 cents, run up there, get it.
Yeah.
I used to play the records till they turned white, you know, till they turned white,
Yeah.
man, you know, and it was fun. I'd sit, you know, listen to all the Motown stuff, you know, everybody, man.
Yeah.
Sit in my room for hours, just playing music.
Right.
You know.
Now, while you were in school, before you graduated from 12th grade, did you do any drumming in school?
Yeah, I was in I went to Allegheny High School.
Okay, me too.
Yeah, you was at Allegheny.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I was in band there, and we did the marching band stuff, you know.
Okay.
And that's why I started learning how to read music.
That was my next question.
Yeah, that's why I
so
started
that's
learning
when
how
you
to
started,
read. Yeah, and what was my music teacher's name?
Was it a female or male?
No, it was a male.
Male?
Lil. I forget this guy's name, but he was funny,
Uh-huh.
and he started me out on trombone.
Okay.
Yeah, he started me out on trombone because
Now, did you want the trombone?
No, I didn't.
You didn't.
I didn't.
He assigned the
right.
trombone
He assigned the trombone to me because all the drummer seats were taken.
Now, wait till I tell you my story. Go ahead.
So he gave me, you know, started me off on trombone, and the thing was my arms wasn't long enough.
Okay.
I couldn't get my
Yeah.
arm out long enough
Right.
to get them notes, you know. So I kept trying to say, Mr. Phillips. Mr. Phillips was his
Mr.
name.
Phillips.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I said, Mr. Phillips, my arms ain't long enough. I can't, can't do this. You know, he said. I said, I like to play drums. He said, well, all the drums are taken. So I said, well, somebody, maybe I can play the bass drum. So he put me on the bass drum. And we used to do the march of the parades and things.
Uh-huh.
And little old me, see, I'm a little cat, man. I had this big bass drum playing, and all the snares and play. But during that time, I learned from all the cats that were in the class with me. I'd listen to them, and then started getting my reading thing together. And just playing it and getting together and finding out what the technical aspect of drumming was.
Uh-huh.
Because I, like I said, playing the tar can, playing Curtis's drums and whatnot,
Right.
and that was just the rhythm. I had the natural rhythm, but the technical aspect of it I didn't have down. But Mr. Phillips helped me get that together.
Right,
How many, what note is what, how many, what a measure is, and I started learning that, and it all started coming clear to me, and I just had a ball with it, man. I had just so much fun.
Now, the first time you went to a concert, do you remember that? And
Yeah.
Who it was, and where it was at, and all
Dig
that?
this. Downtown, I don't know if it's still there, the Stanley Theater.
It's the Benedum now.
It's the
but They
Benedum?
renovated it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stanley Theater. Guess who was the head show? James Brown.
James Brown.
Back in the day, the tickets were $350 for the balcony.
Okay.
Got me a $350 seat, and I'd get right up front at the top of the balcony, at the edge there, where I could look right at the band.
Yeah.
Come showtime, heard the band hit.
Uh-huh.
I was like, kiss my foot. boy, it was like going to heaven again.
Uh-huh.
I was like, what is this? What is this?
Well, we'll be right back in 2.3 seconds. Yeah, we right here with Mr. Brian Skippy Reid. He was telling us about his first concert experience. Now, you
Yeah.
said you were down at the what was then the Stanley,
Stanley
Theater.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it was the Godfather of Soul,
Mr.
Mr.
James
Please
Brown.
himself. Yeah,
James Brown, brother.
And then you took your spot at the front of the balcony.
Front of the balcony,
Yeah.
350 seats,
Uh-huh.
man. And I saw this man perform. It was like, my God, how can one individual do so much?
Mm-hmm.
And this was like time he had. That's when he had the 18-piece band. He had 3 drummers on stage, And I tell you, these cats well, man. They played.
Yeah.
You know, Jabbo Sparks,
Clyde
Clyde
Stubblefield.
Stubblefield.
Yeah,
You know, and
yeah.
another cat named, what was his name? They called him Cyclops, but
Okay.
I forget his real name. But these cats, man, were like, I saw the precision that they had. You know, I mean, like James would make a move and drop his arm, and the band be right there with him. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
will I ever learn something like
Uh-huh.
this here? And it inspired me to just go home and practice some more. Go home and practice some more. Go home and
Yeah.
practice some more. You know,
Yeah.
every record James Brown put out, man, I'm like, boom, go get it. Back to Stellarford, get that record, come home,
Yeah.
boom, and I learn it. You know, like I say, I play it till it turned white. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and that was such inspiration. And then I had the opportunity here in Pittsburgh again, Stanley Theater, because I used to put those shows on. You know,
Mm-hmm.
used to see Jackie Wilson. Saw the Motown Review twice,
Okay.
the original Motown Review
Yeah.
twice, man. You know,
Mhm.
Smokey Robinson, Stevie Wonder, Martha and the Vandellas, you know,
Right.
Junior Walker, you know.
So when you was going to these shows, I know for me, 'cause we
Mhm.
got so much in common.
Mhm.
Man, let me tell you this. When I got in the fourth grade,
Right.
got in music class, and they was assigning instruments,
Right.
the teacher came to me and asked me what I wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
I told him I wanted to play the drums.
Right.
He put me on cello.
Okay.
See,
Dig it.
he looked
Everything
at me,
but what you
yeah,
wanted.
Yeah, he looked at me again. I don't know what kind of look I had on my face, but he said, "Okay, I'll put you on drums."
Mm-hmm.
Me too. My first concert was James Brown.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
So we got a lot of
Yeah,
a lot in
that's for
common here.
real,
But
for
when you
real.
went to the concerts, I know me myself. I was in class, like my
Mhm.
boys. They was going there, man, to hook up with the girls
Yeah,
and all this.
yeah.
But I was always make sure that I could see the drummer,
Mm-hmm.
and I would watch, man, and I would study not only the drummer, but I would study the groups,
Mhm.
you know, and the techniques that they would use to put on a performance.
Right,
You know what I mean? The
right.
tricks of the trade and all
Right,
that. And I
right.
just, I was in class.
That me too.
And I was
Me
going to
too.
ask you, was
Yeah,
that the,
it was a learning experience for me. My experience with music was like I needed to learn. I got to learn how these cats doing this. Seeing the live shows, you hear the records. See, recording and live is two different things. You know, in the recording studio, you're basically just holding that beat, so keeping that meter, so the record will sound good. But when it's live, you add that little extra. You know, you use the toms. You know, you do the little hi-hat tricks and things to give the music that extra kick. You know, and watching these shows, you know, and seeing them, you know, I saw what these cats were doing, and I would say, wow, you know. So there's some technique to that. You know, like I said, you just catch all them shows down the Stanley, man, and I don't remember a group called the Unifics, man.
I remember you, Niffy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these cats were unreal. I mean, they had a drummer, man. He was a real light skinned brother, heavy set. But man, was behind them drums, he was off the chain. They did, you know, movements that they did. He would be right there with them. You know, they move, bam, he'd be there, boom. You know, they throw their hand. He, you know, it's
Right
there,
there
right
on it.
there, right
Yeah.
there on it. You know,
Show drummer.
yeah, show drummer,
Yeah, yeah.
and that interests me. You know, so I got a chance to play with a lot of vocal groups. You know,
That's what I was going to ask you. What was you remember the first band you had a chance to play with?
first band I played with was a group called the Soul Brothers Band. A bunch of fellas down in Manchester,
Okay,
in
who
my
was
neighborhood.
all in that group?
We had Carl Adams on saxophone,
Uh-huh.
John Lumpkin on saxophone, Bobby Smalley on bass, Anderson Ely on guitar, and myself on drums.
Get outta here.
Yeah, man, and we got hot.
Yeah,
we
y'all
got
had a
hot.
horn section and
Yeah, we had a
everything,
horn section and
What
everything.
kind of stuff was y'all doing?
We was doing stuff, you know, stuff right off the radio.
Yeah, top 40 stuff,
Yeah,
huh?
stuff off the radio, and we got really good, man. That Whammo would give what they called back in the day record hops, and what they would do was like the new records that come out, Wilson Pickett, Joe Tex, they bring them in town, and they go to these record hops, but they would have a live band playing. That band, the Soul Brothers Band, was the band
That
that
was the
was
band.
doing work. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember Porky Chetwick, Bill Powell, and the Burner, HB, Harold Brown.
Yeah.
Harold Brown was my man. He gave us a lot of work, you know. And
Okay.
that's what started me into the show thing,
Okay.
show drumming. And
Uh-huh.
I said, you play with these people, man, and we do a rehearsal, and the cat said, well, no, I need it done like this here. He throw it out at you and say, okay, I try that.
Yeah.
And come showtime, man, it was on.
Okay.
It was on, because like we only had like a few hours to rehearse before you
And
had,
that's what
because
I
they
was
come
going.
in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. As far as the Soul Brothers, what was your rehearsal regimen like?
Well, for ourselves, the
Yeah.
band itself, we practice like just about every day,
Oh,
man.
really?
Yeah, down in the basement.
So how do you feel about rehearsals, like, as far as with the
Rehearsals
band?
is imperative, man.
Right.
It's imperative. If you want your stuff to sound good, rehearsal is imperative.
Hey, look in that camera and tell these folks out here, man, these Pittsburghers, man.
Dig it. If you want your stuff to sound good, rehearsal is imperative.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, if you want it to sound good and feel good, and you want the people to groove on it, rehearse.
Mm-hmm.
Rehearse. I learned from Wilson Pickett. When you pick up a song, you should be able to play that song 5 times. First time, run through it. Second time, tighten it up. Third time, tighten up some more. Fourth time, tighten up some more. Fifth time, you ready to play the song.
Right. Right.
And you don't need to come back to it. By the fifth time you played that song, you got the song.
Right.
You
Yeah.
should have it.
Yeah, and you should be
You,
moving on.
you
to
should
the
be
next.
moving on to the next.
Yeah.
And see, little tips like that there, is what helped me say, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it made you dig in, made you really work it, getting it together.
Right,
if you really want to do this.
Right. Right.
Because like there was always somebody else looking for your job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you want to keep your job, you had to be on it.
That's right. That's right.
So that's that type of inspiration, those type of things. Rehearsal. You got to practice. You got to practice.
Right.
If you don't, it's gonna be sloppy and slouchy. And you just be an
Right.
okay
Yeah.
player. If you want to be a good player, got to practice.
Yeah.
Got to practice.
Well, let me ask you this now. Where did you go from after the Soul Brothers?
After the Soul Brothers, uh, started. Let's see. I played with the brothers up until 19. What was it? 68.
1968.
Yeah, it's 68.
Mm-hmm.
Then started doing some recording here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. My first recording session was was it 68? In 68, at Gateway Recording Studio downtown on Stanwyck Street,
Okay.
and recorded with a Pittsburgher by the name of Ralph Thompson. As a matter of
Ralph
fact,
Thompson.
yeah, yeah.
I
yeah.
did some stuff with Ralph Thompson.
Yeah, you know Ralph then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he owed
yeah.
me some money too.
Tell me about it. But he's
Yeah, I see
yeah. But Ralph's a good friend of mine. I grew
Uh-huh.
up with Ralph. Ralph used to when I started playing earlier, and after my parents bought my drums,
Mhm.
he used to come and ask my mother, could I come? He had to ask my parents, could I go play with him?
Right,
Because
right,
he
right.
was, he was doing some things. He had getting gigs, and I started. He gave me some shots and took me for my first recording session in '68.
Yeah, what was that
And
like for you?
That was like awesome, man.
Yeah.
I thought I had arrived,
Uh-huh.
in the studio. And we recorded a tune called "Oh Girl,
Okay.
Oh Girl," and we got it recorded and whatnot. But I learned some. That's when I started learning about the studio. How to, they put you in a little room.
Yeah, with your headphones
with your
on,
headphones on,
Yeah.
and they cat play with you. He mic up your equipment and get you started, and then he turn on the tape. Everybody, let's go, let's do this. Again, the 5 times rule sets in.
Mm-hmm.
You rehearse it first, get the feel of it. Rehearse it again, tighten it up. Rehearse again, tighten some more. Rehearse again. 5th time, it's time to cut.
Mm-hmm.
And usually when we would cut and get to that 5th time and it's time to cut the song, we get it in one take.
Yeah.
Because of rehearsal.
Right.
You
right.
rehearsed
right.
it, and it was easy. It was easy, because like I said, I was hearing rhythms, and like Cab would tell me, well, I want it like this or this, and tell me whatever. I said, boom, okay, let's do it.
Yeah,
And you go ahead and be consistent with your endurance
well, see, you know what that was? That was that practicing every day,
every
man.
day.
That's where that was
Yeah,
coming in at.
yeah,
See, there's nothing more frustrating than being in the studio and the dude say, "Who I need this," but you don't have the ability
to
to
do
do it
that.
because you didn't
Yeah,
practice.
yeah, exactly,
I need a
exactly,
shuffle, but
exactly.
you don't know what a shuffle
You don't know what a
is.
shuffle
You know what I
is.
mean?
Yeah,
So, yeah, well, that's
yeah.
good.
hmm
Well, let me ask you this, Skippy. Do you like recording or performing live better?
I prefer the live performance.
You like the live
Yeah,
performance?
yeah, the live performance because it's spontaneous every night. It's the same songs, but each night, if you got a good group of cats that you're working with, it's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
It's different every night to us, to the musicians. And it might sound the same to the people, but to us,
Yeah.
it's different, So I really prefer the live recording, live performance over recording. And like I remember James Brown's Live at the Apollo Volume 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got
man.
it.
Oh, man. I mean, you talk about inspiration.
Uh-huh.
Brother, if the live thing is it for me. But now I do the studio. I've done a lot of recording and whatnot.
Have you any of your recordings ever hit the airwaves?
Yeah, I did work when I got to California, man. I hooked up with a group called, dig this, Space Arc.
Okay.
Yeah,
Space
and
Arc, huh?
Space Arc. Yeah, cats from one brother from San Francisco. He put it together, Troy Ragland, and another guy from down in L.A., Peter Sealberg, guitar player. And I hooked up with these cats, man, and we got the band together. And we recorded about, we started a record company, really, called Keller World Records. And we did, we recorded 4 albums ourselves as the band Space Arc. And then we would do all the other acts, on the label. He had about 4 or 5 other acts. And that was awesome for me, out on the West Coast, getting in there like that.
Well, the first time you heard yourself on the radio, man, what did that do
Oh
for you?
boy, we did a tune called. I was working with a group called the Stratoliners from here in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
What is it, Norman? What was that boy's name? Lived right up there off Brighton Road, man. Got John Brown, Donald Smith.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rodney Allen.
Yeah.
Rodney
Yeah.
Allen, Van Johnson, and
Oh, Van,
cats.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Van's my cousin.
Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, Van's my cousin.
All them is heavyweights.
yeah,
Man.
yeah, man, yeah. And we did a tune called "What Do You Want with My Love," and it was we went down south and recorded. That's where I met James Brown.
Okay.
Down south, we
You
recorded
gotta
that down
take that?
south. I know, and when it was, man, we went down and recorded. Matter of fact, we recorded in James Brown's studio.
Okay.
And what was that? Eddie was one of the singers. What's that boy?
Wasn't Brown, was it?
No, Eddie, good singer, man, great singer from here in Pittsburgh. He did the lead on one side, and I did the lead on the other side. Cause they had us. They wanted to know what songs when we went down as a band to play, do some gigs down there, and they were digging on us, So we played some tunes for them. Cat said, "Nah, that's okay, but that sound like everything else." So he said, "Why don't you guys go back to the hotel and try to write something?" And good friend of mine, you know him, Luther DeJarnett, guitar player.
Yep.
Me and him went back to the hotel, and we came up with this tune called "What Do You Want with My Love," and that was our first song. We took it back to him. Never forget the old man that recorded us. His name was Bobby Smith, and he put it together for us. And we took it back to him. He said, "This is it. This is it. This is what we do." So we went in, me, Luther, and Van. Van played bass on it. So we went in. We cut the rhythm track, and they liked it. So we finished our work down there. We did the recording, then we finished our work down there. Like 3 weeks later, Bobby Smith, Mr. Smith called and said, we're going to take the bass off, we're going to put another bass on, and we're going to put some horns on it. I said, okay. All right with me. Y'all do what you do,
Right.
Because I was having fun, man. I was having a ball.
Now, how old were you around at this point?
About 16, 17.
16, 17 years old. You doing all this?
Doing all this, man, and, had to get back in time for school, but did a lot of that stuff during the summertime, during school vacation, too. So didn't miss out on school.
Right.
Got to go to school, kids. Got to go to school.
Yeah,
Please
right.
go to school. Get educated. It's imperative, again. So we, about 4 or 5 weeks after that, we headed on Whammo. We down, walking down the street, and I heard, ba 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 da 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 da, and I heard my voice. I said, "Oh my God!" It was awesome, to hear your stuff, the tune that you had written, and to hear it produced the way it was produced. They kept the drums on, they kept the guitar on, they put a different bass player on, and they added horns. And man, I was like off the chain.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I got a copy of it. I'll email you an MP3.
Please do.
I'll email you an MP3
Please
of
do.
it, man. And it was awesome. It was really awesome. So to hear it, you in the neighborhood and everybody telling me, hey, your record's on the radio, your record's on the radio.
Yeah.
I said, well, all right then, felt good, but that situation, being young, I didn't know when I signed certain papers, I'd signed off all my goods, so I only got artist royalties instead of writer royalties.
Right.
So I lost out on a lot on that. But it made a little bit of money and, gave us a little bit of fame, but it was cool. It was cool. Like I said, I was having fun, man.
Right.
I was having fun, and it didn't really matter to me then because I was learning, having fun and just enjoying myself. Seeing what the world of music had to offer.
Right. Now something happened at a certain point in time when, out of all this fun, you packed your bags up and you left Pittsburgh.
Yeah. 1970. Oh, excuse me. 1970, I went into the service. But up to that point, Pittsburgh was jumping musically. I mean, there was plenty places to play.
Oh, there was a band on every
Oh
corner.
man,
too.
tell me about it.
Yeah.
And you remember the 7755 used to be up on the hill on DeVilliers Street?
75. I might have went through there. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
They used to bring in the old man that owned it was Elmer. He used to bring in Ohio players, the OJs, Samson and Delilah. Just all the real good acts, that at the time were out there trying to make it like everybody else. And I had the opportunity, to get up there with them and, learn, look at them, especially the OJs. The OJs really freaked me out, man, because they had just a trio, bass, drums, and guitar, man. And their performance was just outstanding, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, Eddie Levert,
Oh yeah.
always my man. Walter.
There's only one
yeah,
Eddie Levert.
yeah,
man.
only one, man. Only one. Him, Walter, and the other brother used to sing with Little Anthony and the Imperials.
Oh, you talking about Sammy?
Sammy,
Yeah,
Sammy. Yeah, and like, man, I used to go up to 755 and watch them cats, man. They come in for a week and they do 2 shows a night, man. And it was worth watching. It was worth watching. Then later on, they became stars, and just do that. And so all that inspiration, man, just, music became the queen of my soul, And so I say I did went to service in 70, and like I said, it was a lot of work. So I got out the service, and I come back, and the city was dead, man.
What year was that?
This was in 1970. I went in 70, came back in 72.
72.
Yeah.
Okay.
City was dead, man. Wasn't nobody doing nothing. All the good rooms that, that were happening when I left
Right.
closed down. That's because the steel mills had started shutting down and everything. Some people were losing their homes, just like it is today, with the economy and thing. And so I was stationed in California in '70.
Okay.
In the '70s. So I was stationed up at Fort Ord, and my sister lived in Los Angeles. So I spent a week down in Los Angeles with her before I went back up to Fort Ord, and I fell in love with it. And so when I came back in '72, I looked and wasn't nothing happening. I couldn't even work a trio here. I couldn't even get work for three cats, let
Yes,
alone
right.
a 9 or 10 piece band like we used to do.
Hmm.
And so I said, I got to go. There's nothing to do, And the vibe in the city started changing.
Hmm.
So I said, it's time to go, Skip. So me and my girlfriend uh, packed it up, went and bought a new car, packed it up, sold all our other stuff, furniture, got a new car. And she became my wife. Her name is Donna Reid.
Hmm.
She became my wife, and beautiful woman. She passed away last year,
Oh, sorry
but
to hear that.
she was my heart, man.
Hmm.
She was my everything.
A lot of
Yeah,
years.
a lot of years, 35 to be exact. We've
Yeah.
been together, and so she was behind me, and she inspired me. Come on, baby, this is what you do. Come on, do
Hmm.
this, and I never, I love her so much for that, because I
Right.
kept on. Because there's plenty times I said like, man, please let me go get a 9 to 5.
Yeah, well, that
But
was a good thing because I know some cats, man, that was out there on the road,
yeah,
man. I mean, they was like doing things with like Ray Charles and
yeah,
them, man. And the
yeah,
wife was like, I need you back
back
here.
here, yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
my
They come
lady,
up off the road, man.
yeah,
But you had that support, man. That's a
yeah,
good,
yeah.
good
My
thing.
wife was very supportive. She inspired me and told me, hey, baby, this because I told her when we left for California, I said, I'm going to Cali to play music. You want to come? She said, yeah, let's go.
Hmm.
And just that alone right there, made me fall even more in love with her.
Yeah.
She was willing to take that venture. Trust me, to travel that far with me.
Right,
And
right.
we came on out to Cali, man, and it took me about 6 months to get in the music clique there. You know,
Yeah.
and then once I got in, it was like off the chain, man. I was working like sometimes 7 days a week, sometimes
Okay.
twice a day.
Yeah.
Do 2 gigs a day, one in the afternoon and one in the evening.
Yeah.
It was really good, and that went on for a while from '72 up to like '85, and
Hmm.
then it's flip moded. It flip moded.
Okay.
Disco showed up
Yeah.
and started changing things, and then after disco died, here come rap. Now, I got nothing against rap. I love rap,
Uh-huh.
but it it killed a lot of live performances
Yeah, it
by
did.
real
Yeah.
musicians.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it
It
did.
cut it down. I got nothing against you brothers that rap. I love y'all. Especially if you rapping positive stuff and not that other gangster excuse
Garbage.
garbage. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, nothing personal. Strictly business.
Yeah.
Uh, it got slow.
Hmm.
But so what I did, I started. I was living in Hollywood, and I just like sold all my equipment, sold all my drums and stuff, and I
No,
bought
you
some.
did.
Yeah, I did, man. I had 3 sets of drum. I sold all of it, man, and I bought some recording equipment, and I set up a little studio in my
Uh-huh.
living room,
Okay.
and I just started, writing songs, started writing, and sending out demos to different people, trying to get songs placed on
Right.
people's records and
Right.
whatnot,
Right. Right.
and that was a little hard too. And then I had a guy tell me, Skip, I need you for a gig, man. I said, man, I ain't got no drums. I had an electronic set of rolling, and
Hmm.
I said, all I got is these, man, and I ain't never played them on the live. He said, could you do something for me? I need you. I got to have you. I said, why you need me? Cause I know you can do this.
Hmm.
So I went on with this electronic set, did the gig, and once I did that gig, I got inspired again. I said, okay, let me go buy another set of drums.
Okay. Yeah. 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 You
And
bitten again.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Uh-huh.
queen of my soul said, baby, you ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Come
Right.
here.
Right. Right.
So I went on and hooked it up, got another set of drums, and got back into it.
Uh huh.
And been just I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
Still doing it.
Well, you was fortunate to work with some pretty big names. You
Yeah.
like to share with who?
Yeah,
Some of those
I
work?
when I was down south, They were doing the recording times. I worked with James Brown.
James Brown.
Yeah, did a little thing with Wilson Pickett.
Wilson Pickett.
Joe Tex,
There you go.
girl with the skinny legs and all. Yeah,
Who
worked
got the
with
girl
them.
with the skinny legs?
Yeah, so you're right. That's the one. And those type of people, man. And then I was doing a lot of road stuff too. A lot of tour bands.
Okay.
And a lot of bands. That were doing making good money, man. I worked with one group called Smiley out there. I worked with them for 5 years, man, and all we played was like the Black Angus restaurant circuits.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 nights, 6 nights a week, and what we do do each restaurant a month at a time.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'd go in and set up, and I wouldn't have to move my equipment for a month. For a whole month.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
that
I
was
know you
wonderful,
love
brother.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my paycheck was never late.
Right. See, for a whole lot of people who don't really understand, there's a lot of groups out there who you don't hear on the radio that make more money than groups that's on the radio.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, you got to understand that.
Yeah.
It's always not about, recognizable names.
Right.
Because there's a lot of groups, like the groups you was talking about.
You
man.
don't
These
even
cats
know
is
their
working,
names,
Yeah,
right?
they working all the
Yeah,
time.
working all the time.
Matter of fact, can I borrow a couple dollars?
So you right.
So now 2009. How things was Skippy?
2009 is pretty good. Like I said, my wife passed away last year, and I'm working with a group called the Nathan Duncan Trio. It's a smooth jazz trio,
Okay.
and brother keeps me working pretty well.
Mhm.
Keeps me working pretty well, and
Okay, what pieces are in it?
bass,
Drums?
bass,
Bass.
keyboards, and
Okay.
drums,
Okay.
and it's tight too.
You vocalizing?
Once in a while.
Okay.
Once in a while.
Most
I've got some other
instrumentals?
bands that I'm playing with that I do vocals with. Like I work with a rhythm and blues cat by the name of Richard Mooring. They call him Daddy Rich. And the
Okay.
fellas,
Yeah.
play with him and do a lot of singing with him.
Mhm.
Do a lot of vocals and drumming. And but the smooth jazz thing that I'm with the Nathan Duncan Trio, I'm really loving that.
Yeah.
I'm really loving that because it's the type of band that I've always wanted to have. Nice, small, compact. Not a whole lot of overhead. Everybody's got their head together, and everybody's at an age where it's like, hey, we know what we got to do. Let's do it. Ain't no ego tripping and all that there.
Right.
You know how they go.
Yeah.
Now,
Is
people.
that the footage you're going to send me?
Yeah. We did a cruise last year, and we had it filmed. We only filmed it with one camera, but it came out pretty good.
Well,
So,
I tell you what, you want to take them there?
yeah, let's do
Okay,
that.
let's take them there. What's the name of the group?
The Nathan Duncan Trio.
Nathan Duncan Trio.
Yeah, you got John Farr on bass, Nathan Duncan on keyboards, and myself on drums.
First of all, we want to bring a wonderful guitarist, bassist. I call him Thumper because he is so great. John Farr is fantastic. Just get a little bit of information about him. He's worked with the Temptations. He's worked with not only Little Richie, everybody knows him, and he's worked also with LTD. Please give a nice warm applause for John Farr. Go, Thumper. And for our next musician, we have, you think James Brown was bad. When you say give the drummer some, I mean you give the drummer some. Skip Reid is our drummer. A little bit about him. He's worked with Joe Tex. Anybody old enough to know about Joe Tex out there? Right. Get the Skid and Labity some, okay? He's worked with the Temptations. He's worked with all the musicians' studio. He's done many cruises. He's done it all. Ladies and gentlemen, Skip Reid on drums. Last but not least, we know Mom just introduced Nathan T. Duncan, but he's had so many recordings out. He's worked with Gerald Albright. He's worked with all the many musicians like Earth, Wind, and Fire. He's done commercials. He's written and produced many scores. He's done commercials. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a nice, warm welcome for Nathan T. Duncan, who is the Nathan T. Duncan Trio. at least. My one and only friend, who's an absolute wonderful percussionist. Karen has worked with all the many artists that you can name. Nathan T. Duncan, she's worked with Earth, Wind, and Fire. She's worked with John Farr and Skip and many others. Give her a nice, big, warm applause. Thank you.
Thank you folks for being here. We see folks of different age groups. So we're going to do a little mixture of some traditional jazz and some R&B, Latin, smooth jazz. So just sit back and relax. You've been here before. You know what we do. So have a nice time. Just testing. If they make weird faces, just overlook that. Again, my sister Karen Duncan on percussion. John Barr on bass. John Barr on bass. Okay, Brian Skip Reid on drums and Nathan T. Duncan on piano. So you sit back and relax. history. I'm gonna make it real brief. Never mind. Make a long story even longer. These jazz cruises are very special. I did a song on our very first one or two. And some of the people sitting in the seats you're sitting in said, hey, you know, you ought to record this. So I did. It was a song called Skies Over Brazil. So I took the song to the radio station and said, give me some ideas. I want to make a CD, kind of a demo CD. And then I said, I want to make a real one. They said, stop the presses. We're going to play this thing. It's a song called Skies Over Brazil. So I did another song, which wound up, one I did and it got great reviews here, and wound up a duet I did with Gerald Albright, and wound up on several episodes of the show Celebrity Profile. Did another song, it's kind of like a farewell, like this one really is, and so I named it Farewell, and what kept happening, we wound up having more jazz cruisers, so I changed the name to It's Never Goodbye. Put Michael Paulo on it, and it got some very nice airtime on the radio station as well. So we're going to do that one for you, because we're not going to change the name because it's already on one of the CDs, but we're going to give you a nice idea of that song, It's Never Goodbye. song we're going to do off that third CD is a song that became quite popular as we visited the islands. So we named this one Island Fever. If you've been on other jazz cruises, you've heard this one. Okay, I just want to walk you all through those songs. From now on, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. We're just going to sit back and have some fun. There's a restaurant we played at on a regular basis 3 years running in the LA area. Some great folks have come by, and we've had a nice time. So we're going to do some of the songs we did there. And matter of fact, one of the great privileges we had of working there, we stumbled upon a production company that wanted to film us playing one evening. It was the Food Network, Rachel Ray Show, aired it about 3 months in a row. And we had this wonderful trio here. My sister wasn't with us at the time. Space limitations at that specific location. So she's here with us. She plays regularly with us when we get quartets, requests for quartets. So we're going to do a number of songs that's going to feature each one of our wonderful musicians here. And we're going to have a great time. So you're not going to hear from me anymore until I start talking again. Remember, when I put you on the pedestal, don't get comfortable until I walk away. stop it. Go, Karen. We're going to do one of my favorites. Actually, they're one of my favorites. How about another hand for Brenda Gooch? I'll mosey on in this time. It's a song by Stanley Turrentine called Sugar, sped up Latin form. you know them.
Yeah.
As soon as you walked on board. Oh, yeah. Give a hand for these guys. From Jamaica. I'm from an area close to there. Ohio. It's 7:30? 5. Oh, we gotta go.
No, we have 25 more minutes. You said it was an
No, we
hour
have
and
to
a
leave,
half.
right?
35. It's 7.
Who's gotta tear down? I'm tearing my stuff down. So we have to be out of here by 8. Can I do 2 minutes just to do a little tribute to these guys?
Yeah. This is for you.
Man, you know what, man? You cats is jamming, man. You know, I mean, that's tight.
Yeah, we have fun.
Yeah.
We have big fun, man.
Yeah.
We have big fun. That was a cruise we did. Went down to Mexico. 7-day cruise.
Yeah.
Only had to work 1 day.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
That's good.
Got paid.
You ain't mad at nobody.
I ain't mad at nobody, man. Yeah. It was good. It was good. It's fun.
Well, let me say this. Is there anything else you would like people to know, man? That you know, because a lot of people, like you said, you've been away for a while.
Yeah,
man.
I've been gone for a
People
while.
haven't seen you, and they probably watching, saying, "Oh man, my man Skippy, man, oh man, he doing good, man." So, anything you want to leave him with?
Yeah, but hey, you know, like I had the opportunity to get back here at home, you know, for our family reunion this year, and also had, you know, some little tragedy that we had to deal with. But I see the city's changed a lot, and but a lot of folks still remember me. I'm very appreciative of that. You know, a lot of folks remember me. I was like, went to the was it Community Day over here at West Park? Old School, Old Timers Day, yeah. And man, I seen so many people that I hadn't seen since I left, you know. Also, Gussie Collins.
Yep.
Gussie Collins.
Yep.
Played with Gussie when he was with John C.
You were both
Oh
of us. Told you we got a
man,
lot in
yeah,
common,
brother,
man.
yeah. Gussie Collins, and like Gussie, you still got it, man.
Yeah,
You
don't
still cooking, bro. I love you, man. Gussie like a big brother to me, man. Don't see them cats. All them cats took me under their wing, man, when I was coming up, man, and they showed me things, and like I said, I can't be mad at nobody. I've been blessed. I've been truly been blessed with my career in music, man, and it all started right here in the Burgh.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, I love you. God bless you. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, man, we appreciate you stopping by.
Appreciate you
But
having
gotta,
me, brother.
You gotta promise us the next time you come in town, man, you stop by and holler at us, man.
Sure you
give us
right.
an update.
Sure you right. Sure
All
you
right.
right. That'll work. That'll work.
Okay.
Thanks, Timmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Brian Skippy Reid.
All right.